It says here, consequently, God expelled Satan from heaven, with the latter promising to lure mankind into disbelief and evil as an act of revenge directed towards Adam, as Iblis told Allah, right? He was gonna, mislead his descendants. It says here also, some scholars call Satan the peacock of angels, referring his foolish hubris. We're gonna again read what hubris is, and just want to remind you, we've went from the peacock all of a sudden to Iblis, right, and Satan, but we're returning again back to the peacock, right? What does it say here? Some scholars call Satan the peacock of angels. On the other hand, other scholars believe that there are no such things as heavenly jinn or fiery angels, and thus Satan was not an angel. He was a jinn, whom God elevated to heaven as a reward for his worship and righteousness, just like Thoth, was chosen amongst the children of men, of the sons of men. This is also used to explain why Satan managed to refuse God's order, as angels obey God's orders without questioning or complaining. So he had his, almost like a human has the free will, right? As for the angels, they prostrated before Adam to show their homage and obedience to God. However, Satan, adamant in his view that man is inferior and unlike angels, was given the ability to choose, made a choice of not obeying God. This caused him to be expelled by God, a fact that Satan blamed on humanity. Hassan of Basra, an eminent Muslim theologian who lived in the 7th century AD, was quoted as saying, "Iblis was not an angel, even for the time of an eye wink. He is the origin of jinn, as Adam is of mankind." Continuing, it says, in Islam, the devil again is called Shaitan, and refers to all evil forces under the leadership of the arch-devil known as Iblis or the Ibis/Thoth. The primary characteristic of Iblis is hubris. Take away the H, Ibris, the prophet from Islam. Not only did he deem himself a superior creation to Adam, he also demonstrated arrogance by challenging God's judgment and commanding him to prostrate. His primary activity is to incite humans and jinn to commit evil through deception. So not only humans, he convinces jinn, right, his followers, his other fallen angels, which is referred to as whispering into the hearts. I guess we get the snake symbology, like the snake, right, whispering, being evil, sneaky. The Quran mentions that Satans are the assistants of those who disbelieve and commit immorality. So the Quran is making Satans plural, right? Satans. And it says they're the assistants of those who disbelieve and commit immorality. So it seems to be a type of people based on what they do, or a type of not people but just entities and based on what they do. Again, just to make it clear, it says Shaitan is the equivalent of Satan in Islam, while Shaitan from the root Satan is an adjective meaning astray or distant, sometimes translated as the devil. So astray, right? He went astray because he didn't want to bow, or he became distant. He distanced himself from the others who prostrated. Sometimes translated as devil. That can be applied to both man. Okay, it can be applied to a man and jinn. Man and jinn. Okay, those can be classified into fallen angels or unbelievers among the jinn and pagan deities. Okay, putting all this together, right? So let's go back. An adjective meaning astray or distant, sometimes translated as devil, that can be applied to both man and jinn. All right, those can be classified into fallen angels. All right, these Satans are fallen angels, just more than one. Among unbelievers among the jinn and pagan deities. Okay, Iblis, here we go again. Iblis is the personal name of the devil who is mentioned in the Quranic account of Genesis. According to the Quran, Iblis, the Arabic name used, disobeyed an order from God to bow to Adam, and as a result, Iblis was forced out of heaven. However, he was given respite from further punishment until the day of judgment. Shaitan can also refer to devilish temptations inside the mind, described as whisperings. Okay. Down below, the original Hebrew term Satan is a noun from a verb meaning primarily to obstruct or oppose, right? He opposed, he didn't want to bow down, as it is found in Numbers 22:22, 1 Samuel 29:4, Psalms 109:6. Ha-Satan is traditionally translated as the accuser or the adversary. The definite article ha, the, is used to show that this is a title bestowed on a being versus the name of a being. Do you see? So these are titles. This is an action. This is something that people are doing, disobedience. Thus, this being would be referred to as the Satan. Now, let's learn about hubris, right? What Shaitan and this Iblis was doing, or what their act they were doing, or what they were being described to follow, this hubris, right? As also says hybris with a Y. So take away that H. What do you get? Just the Ibris, or right? Ibris? Ibris? Ibris isn't Ibris or Idris. Idris, right? Idris, Iblis, Ibris. Very similar, these words, right? Now let's continue. Describes a personality quality of extreme or foolish pride or dangerous overconfidence. So you see what it's saying that Shaitan is, right? Or Iblis, what it means, right? It says describes a personality quality of extreme or foolish pride or dangerous overconfidence. In its ancient Greek context, it typically describes behavior that defies the norms of behavior or challenges the gods, in which in turn brings about the downfall or nemesis of the perpetrator of hubris. Alright, so it's an act, right? It's like an act, verb. It's like an adjective as well, describing what they're doing, like they're defying, they're going against the whole rules, they're just being in disorder, right? It says the adjectival form of the noun hubris is hubristic. Hubris is usually perceived as a characteristic of an individual rather than a group. Okay? Although the group the offender belongs to may unintentionally suffer consequences from the wrongful act, hubris often indicates a loss of contact with reality. A loss of contact with reality. Okay, hubris. Alright? And an overestimation of one's own competence, accomplishments, or capabilities. Okay, you hear that? Contrary to common expectations, hubris is not necessarily associated with high self-esteem, but with highly fluctuating or variable self-esteem, and a gap between inflated self-perception and a more modest reality. Alright? C.S. Lewis wrote in Mere Christianity that pride is the anti-God state, the position in which the ego and the self are directly opposed to God. Unchastity, anger, greed, drunkenness, and all that are mere flea bites in comparison. It was through pride that the devil became the devil. Pride leads to every other vice. It is the complete anti-God state of mind. Okay, so this is hubris. Alright, so now we're gonna get into, we're gonna continue with these Shaitan or Iblis, or this peacock, right? The peacock angel. And we're gonna get into the Jasidis. Again, we've heard about them before, but we're gonna find out now exactly who they are in case you guys don't know. Alright, so the Jasidis, right? They worship this peacock angel, right? This falling peacock angel that fell. This was the falling angel. They admit it. So we're going to read their story right now. So it says, since the late 16th century, some Muslims have accused Jasidis of devil worship due to the similarity between the Quranic story of Iblis and the account of Tawus Melek, refusal to bow to Adam. Whereas Muslims revere Iblis for refusing to submit to God and bow to Adam, believing that his defiance caused him to fall from God's grace. Jasidis revere Tawus Melek for his independence and believe that God's command to Tawus Melek was a test to see if he understood his own majestic and sublime nature. Accusations of devil worship fueled centuries of violent